if you, just like me, grew up in a highly severely dysfunctional family or culture, well, we know the culture is dysfunctional. The greediness and the expectancy to perform, to make performance the way to success, personal success, just spawns really lonely, dysfunctional people. So we know that that's dysfunctional. The whole general culture in the Western world is highly dysfunctional. Um, but you might also have grown up in a severely dysfunctional family, which of course doesn't make it better, because if you are growing up in a dysfunctional family, you're told a lot of lies and bullshit, and then you have the culture around you who cannot dispute those lies, who cannot dispute the bullshit, but will just enhance it and further prove to you that that's how it is. And we can, I can say a lot about this. I can talk for hours about dysfunctional cultures and families, and I'm gonna do that, but not today. I just want to say that what we have to start with is we have to start with acknowledging that we don't know anything, and that's okay, you know. Um, I actually was brought up in a family full of lies. Like, they would tell me directly or indirectly that I was not worth loving if I was not useful. I had to be useful in some way to be lovable. I had to be good at my schoolwork. I had to get good grades. I had to be good at. Some people might be expected to be good at cooking or fixing things. I was supposed to be my father's emotional support. If any of you out there know about narcissists, you probably also have read my book about narcissists, narcissistic men and narcissistic women. There are two books. You know that the child often is expected to be the parent of the parent, which is very, very unhealthy for a child, because the child will not have a childhood. And that means that it's not given time and space to explore who they are and find out what they want, what they dream of, what is important to them, what their values are. They are forced, because there's no time or place or space for them, they're forced to take on their parents' values. And this is not just the narcissistic parents' children. This is most dysfunctional adults' children, parents' children, that are doing this. You will automatically assume the values of your parents and the truth that were your parents, even though they might not be your truth. And then you go through life feeling something is off. Something is not quite right, but I can't really put my finger on it. My luck was that I, in my early 20s, had this feeling very intensely. I definitely felt that something was off, but I just didn't know what it was. And I looked at my parents and I was like, it must be because my mother is an alcoholic. That must be it. Yeah. So I went into therapy and I talked about my mother's alcoholism, which was fine, but of course it didn't help me at all. Oh, we have something flying over. And this is like 30 years ago. And back then, we didn't have the options or the tools or the therapeutical methods that we have today. Today we know so much more, and we don't have to sit and talk every week for 7 years to change things. There are things we can do to change things around much more easily. So, but of course, some of us, we have to have had go through all this shit to find out that there are other ways. That's the destiny, you know, for some of us. And that's okay. So looking back on those 30 years of therapy and personal work, I can say that the first thing and the very most important thing you have to do, that I had to do, that everyone has to do to move anywhere with their life, to get anywhere at all, is to get to know themselves. And that might be the very, very hardest thing, because we are in a dysfunctional culture, which is not supporting us getting to know ourselves. As soon as we start spending time and effort on ourselves, some people will say or imply that we are selfish and self-absorbed and egoistic. But let me just tell you this. The more time and effort you spend on you, the more you love yourself, the more you take care of yourself, the more you spend your energy on you, the more energy you have to spend on others. You become more empathetic to others if you're empathetic to you. You become more compassionate with others if you're compassionate with you. You become a lot better at loving others if you love you. It makes sense, doesn't it? If you can do this with you, whatever it is you want to do, if you can do it with you, then you can do it with others. So if you want to be a kind person, you have to be kind to you first and foremost. And yeah, there might be a period where you are very self-absorbed and you're only occupied with what's going on inside you. And that's okay too. You will come out on the other side and be a better person for it. I promise you. That is how it is. So take the time to actually be your own best friend and your own love coach, who supports you and nourishes you, and get to know yourself. I have given you a lot of tools in your healing journey, the book that I have written with my friend Charlotte Lindhardt. And perhaps you've already bought it, perhaps you already got it, and you start working the tools, and you will know from the exercises that I put in the book that this is true, that when you start to get to know yourself, you have a much better idea of which way to go. And that's it. When we only know what we don't want, we can't move anywhere. But once we start to know where we want to go, where we want to be, who we want to be, then we can move. Yeah, that's it for now. Take care, and I'll be back soon.